And I assume we have a quorum.
Yeah.
All right. Starting out is Resolution R25-24. Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution proclaiming October 14th as Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance in Garland County.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Resolution number R25-24 receives a pass. Next is ordinance number O25-17. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment for the American Rescue Plan Fund to fund certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt.
All right. Any discussion? I believe that was Bales. And okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Ordinance number O25-17 receives a pass. Ordinance number O25-18. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Who was the second?
Ed's. Over here.
Oh, Ed's. Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. All right. Ordinance number O25-18 receives the due pass. All right. Appropriation ordinance number O25-19 be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Garland County Budget Ordinance O24-33 to anticipate revenues, appropriate and transfer funds in various budgets and for other purposes.
Move for a due pass.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Appropriation ordinance number O25-19 receives a pass.
We adjourned.
Oh,
Just
we are
as
adjourned. Sorry. I've been a little under.
Call to order the regular meeting of County Quorum Court for October. Our opening prayer tonight will be delivered by Pastor Doug Jones. Doug, would you come forward and stay with us for the pledge, please?
Stand and then we'll pray and then pledge. Father God, what a wonderful day to be alive. Lord, we think about a world that's in chaos not long ago. And Father, come in peace right now. Lord, we don't know how long it'll last. Lord, you know that. But the truth of the matter is we can rejoice in the peace that we see now. And I pray, Father, that you just take and be with Israel, be with Pakistan, and be with Palestine, and those that would want to do harm. Then they come to the place they'll recognize the best way to do it is to just, bring peace among your people. I pray that you watch over this court tonight. May you take and guide and direct all things that are said, all things that are done. And may you receive all honor and glory through it. For you are the King of Kings, you are the Lord of Lords, so you're worthy to be praised. We would want to lift you up tonight. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Doug. Sir, would you please call the roll?
Justice Broughton.
Here.
Anderson. Jones. Young. Bales. Hooten. Myers.
Here.
Floyd.
Here.
Peters.
Here.
McGrew. Here. Hunter.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Heads.
Here.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Anderson, second by Justice Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. You've had an opportunity to look at the minutes from the September 8th Quorum Court meeting. Chair will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Justice McGrew, second by Justice Hunter. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. 3 exhibits tonight. Cash position for September 2025, Statement of Operations, Environmental Services Committee, Public Works and Buildings, meeting minutes from the 15th of September. Chair will entertain a motion to approve those exhibits.
So moved.
Motion made by Justice Anderson, second by Justice Peters. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Committee reports. Ordinance Committee, Justice Broughton.
Yes, Judge, we met prior to this meeting and everything received a pass.
Thank you, sir. Environmental Service Committee, Public Works and Building, Justice Young.
We did meet on September 15th as reflected in the minutes.
Thank you, sir. Finance Committee, Justice McGrew.
Judge, Finance Committee on October 6th, and all items received a due pass.
Thank you. Human Resources Committee, Justice Anderson.
Judge, met on October 6th, and everything passed. We came forth.
Thank you. Public Health Welfare and Safety Committee, Justice Myers.
Judge, met on September 22nd, and the resolution before us received a due pass.
Thank you. IT Committee, Justice Jones.
Nothing has changed since the last time that we met, so.
All right, thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to approve all committee reports.
So moved.
Motion made by Justice Peters, second by Justice Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And as most of you that have been coming to our meetings know, each quarter we try to recognize our individuals that have long-term commitment to Garland County and have been with us a while, from 10 years up to, we actually had one that had been here 40 years. The longest serving tonight, 30 years. Thomas, the head of the HR committee, if you would please have those individuals come forward. We're very thankful to have these individuals that have dedicated their career to Garland County, and we try to do all we can to make sure we keep all we can here. There is someone here, I think, that can accept the award for Tammy Keller. Christy, you want to come forward and accept her award? She said she couldn't be here tonight, but Christy Womble is her boss, her elected official, and maybe you could accept that for her and get it to her, please.
Thank you for accepting this presented, for 10 years of service. And just let her know that we
Thank you, Christy. Sorry, Tammy couldn't be with us this evening. Damon is it's Dwayne from the road department. He lives in Pencil Bluff, so he couldn't be with us tonight. I'll be glad to take that and make sure that he can get it tomorrow or the next day. He's a long-term employee. He's our best operator we've got out there, and he's the guy that drives the black motor grader that you see around. So. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Todd is the guy that keeps everything moving in the sheriff's office. Anything breaks, he's got to fix it no matter what it is.
Is the sheriff on another cruise?
Good catch, Thomas. Good catch. Cat-like reflexes.
That's a long time to be at the sheriff's department.
Took 30 more years.
Thank you, Captain Warrior. Thank you all for your commitment to Garland County and to be part of our team. We appreciate it very much. Sarah, let's move into our resolutions. First resolution tonight is only, I guess, R2524 resolution proclaiming October 14th as Charlie Kirk Day. Please read that by title only.
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution proclaiming October 14th as Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance in Garland County.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Broughton. Any discussion? If you want to speak to that resolution, now's the time to do it. Let me get that list and I'll call your name off.
Sorry.
went around. What was it?
Ms. Bellinger? You have 3 minutes. Thank you. Just say your name and your address if you don't mind.
So I'm Rona
You can
Bellinger.
pull that down to you.
Thank you. A little short. I'm Rona Bellinger. I'm in District 5. My address is 109 Talisman Street. I was going to come speak, but my friend Judy Dare wasn't able to come, so I offered to read her letter. I write this email to request that the resolution R2424 listed below be removed from the October 13th, 2025 Quorum Court agenda and tabled indefinitely. The resolution. As seen at the Public Health, Safety, and Welfare Committee, this is a highly charged topic. The resolution will not bring unity to Garland County, only cause more discord and dissension. There are many reasons to remove this resolution from the agenda. However, one of the most rational reasons is that a day of remembrance has already passed through Congress, and this will be a redundant issue. Why stir up Garland County residents and pit neighbor against neighbor for not only a redundant issue, but only one that does not have a place in the Quorum Court? This resolution seems very self-serving to most of the JPs, but once again, does not service the people they were elected to serve. In a conversation with Justice Myers after the September 22nd committee, I asked him why this resolution wound up in the Public Health, Safety, and Welfare Committee, and he explained that the PHS and W committee was a place for all things that didn't really have a place within the court's purview. I hope this is not the case and that the court only brings forth issues that fall under the committee's responsibility. Please consider my request. The resolution is removed from the agenda. The court will show that you justices understand how important it is to Garland County residents to be heard, and that we have a quorum court that truly interests in the peaceful outcome that respects all races, religions, and creeds of the citizens of Garland County. Regards. Thank you.
Thank you. Millie Wilson? Ms. Wilson, if you would just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Millie Wilson. My address is 351 Ridgemont Way in Hot Springs. I echo some of what she's already said from Judy Dare. I'm against this resolution. I don't think it has a place in being here. It's already been handled at the federal and the state level, and it is redundant. Secondly, it's not in your purview to do something like that. Just because you don't have a committee that it fits in and you throw it into whatever committee doesn't mean you ought to be going there. There's an old saying, not everything that can be done should be done. And this is one of them. If you need something to address your time to, I've got suggestions for you. The state of Arkansas is the most food insecure state in this country. 50 states, and we get to be the #1 food insecure. And I'm sure some of those food insecure people live right here in Garland County. And I would have a heck of a lot more respect for you if you would address that sort of issue in something rather than something like you're doing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. C. Jeske, did I get close with that? I apologize. I didn't say it right.
You said it right.
Okay.
I'm amazed. So my name is Sue Jeske. I live at 311 Tom Ellsworth Drive. I live in District 1. Mike Broughton is my representative. Hello. Anybody who knows me knows that I don't speak in front of people, so it's kind of a big deal for me to be up here. This was important to me. I wanted to come and just remind the Quorum Court that, and Mr. Broughton specifically, that you guys are elected officials here to represent your state, and those of us who live in your includes myself and many of the people behind me who live in your district and do not support this resolution. Garland County has a lot of amazing history, and people, we have a day of remembrance, people relevant to our community and pretty well loved universally. For example, I will be here in full support of a commemorative day for Dick Antoine. Charlie Kirk, however, is a less universally loved person in this community and never lived here and is not relevant to Garland County in any specific fashion. If you mourn him, that's your prerogative. I will be among the first to say that he died in a very tragic way. But there is, as they've said, there's already a Charlie Kirk Day on the state level. And I'm asking you as someone that you purport to represent and speak for, not to waste any more time on making this a county issue as well. So thank you for your time and service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Gagabin.
You know me and you didn't get mine right.
That's because I can never remember how it's supposed to be.
Paul Kagabine. I live in District
Kagabine.
You got it this time. District 3, good afternoon or evening. I don't really know where the line is, afternoon, evening. But just to give a little context to the public who weren't here a few weeks ago when this resolution was first in committee, the original version, in addition to the Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance, also had plans to rename this room that we're in right now to the Charlie Kirk Debate Without Hate Room. Justice Brown pointed out that many of his constituents felt that this was inappropriate to name a county government building or room after someone who had little, no connection to our community. And there was an amendment made to strike that part from the resolution. So I do want to acknowledge and thank Justice Brown and the rest of the committee for making that change. However, we're still left with this day of remembrance, and I believe that that too is still inappropriate for the county to proceed with. It's not because Charlie Kirk was controversial. In fact, many of the most famous people of all time who have holidays named after them are extremely controversial. You almost have to be to have a holiday named after you. Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, Jesus Christ, all have holidays. All three were eventually the victims of political assassinations because they stood up for and spoke for what they believed in and advocated for changes in ways that shook the systems of the time. And now hundreds of millions of people across the world regard each of them as inspirational heroes. But in their lifetimes, while they did have followers, they also had a lot of haters, and they were extremely controversial, with plenty of people who were offended and outraged by their words. Now, Charlie Kirk has been compared to them, MLK especially for some reason, but the facts are Charlie Kirk, he did speak his mind, he had followers, he had haters, he inspired some people, and he was assassinated. But here's what's different. And I'm not taking away from you how Charlie made you feel. I believe that you all genuinely felt inspired by him, and I hope you do something positive with that inspiration. However, King and Lincoln and Jesus, while their words did offend people, you don't really hear stories about how their words hurt people. And two things can be true at once. His supporters may have felt inspired, and I can't question your perspective if you felt that way, but many others were not just merely offended, they felt hurt. You may believe he advocated for some groups, but many people in other groups feel he advocated against them and that his words were hateful and bigoted and targeted marginalized groups that he disagreed with. He may have taken time to debate those people, but that doesn't mean that he left them feeling respected and valued. So while you may disagree with that perspective, review his intentions positively, the fact is that's how the people speaking against us today feel, and you can't take that away from them either. So if the county is going to declare a day of remembrance at a county level for someone who, again, no serious connection to the community, please be mindful of how that person made all of your constituents feel. Thank you.
Thank you,
Excuse
Paul.
me, Paul. Paul, may I just make a point? Thank you. Shortly after his assassination, a candlelight vigil was called here on the courthouse grounds. I attended. I was standing with an official. I won't say who, but he's pretty good at counting numbers, and he was kind of there to do that, I think. And 15 minutes before it started, he said, "I believe there's 300 plus people here." Another 100 probably showed up. We'll call it 300. The impact that you say it didn't have on this community brought 300 people out. I've been to a lot of police fallen officers memorial, and there were probably 130 people there. Sure. And I go to that yearly. There were over 300 people, and he has had an impact on this community.
Sure, he had impact on individuals, but there were 99,000 people in the county that weren't there. So, and those 300 people aren't here in this room to speak in support of that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chris Howell.
Good evening. My name is Chris Howe. I'm here representing the NAACP branch 6013 of Hot Springs, Arkansas. We have a prepared statement regarding Resolution 2524 that I've been asked to present tonight. On September 24th, the NAACP Arkansas State Conference released a statement condemning the commemoration of Charlie Kirk. On September 20th, in a joint statement with the Legal Defense Fund, they said, quote, Mr. Kirk promoted ideas that were exclusionary, harmful, and fundamentally at odds with the values of equality and justice, and those ideas deserve no honor nor celebration from officials who have taken a vow to uphold the ideals of the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, we condemn the proposed Resolution 25-24 by the Garland County Quorum Court. We agree with Justice Thomas Anderson, who gave the lone dissent and described this resolution as another divisive measure. And furthermore, this proposed resolution is beyond the scope of the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety Committee and the broader Garland County Quorum Court. It politicizes a body that should be focused on the affairs of the county. Consequently, we ask the members of the body to vote opposed on Resolution 25-24. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Doug Jones.
Doug Jones, 907 West St. Louis, District 3. I really didn't come to speak. I came to pray. And when I've heard some of the conversation going on, I said, well, maybe I better say something. And one of the things I take away from it is the fact that, we commemorate men that have given their lives for an idea. It's already been mentioned, Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln. And we look back and we can remember them for the mark that they made in the society in which they live. And this is not naming a building. I would not even be, I don't think Charlie Kirk would be in favor of naming a building over him. In fact, he was a kind of guy that he just wanted to be known for courage and faith. And to be able to take it and make a difference in the world in which he lived. Now, one thing I take away more than anything from Charlie Kirk is a statement that he made that when we quit talking, things fall apart. And to commemorate someone who has that mindset, why don't we just talk, okay? It's already been established that the 14th is going to be the day when we remember Charlie Kirk as a state. This public property, if there's a group that wants to come and wants to just remember that day, then I don't see any harm in it. You're not really making a statement that we're going to start naming streets or we're going to start naming buildings after Charlie Kirk. We're just saying there's somebody that had an idea that believed hard enough, believed enough in it that he was willing to give his life for what he believed in. And I'll tell you what, I appreciate men and women that will stand up and be counted for what they think is righteousness and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Tim Luker.
My name is Tim Looper, and I'm in 15 Lagoon Way in Hot Springs Village, District 11. The reason I'm here tonight is I'm coming with a humble heart and an open mind about all of this. I've heard prayers being offered. I've heard specific things being compared to other holidays. We're not the state of Arkansas, and we're not the United States of America. We're Garland County. The hub of our county is the city of Hot Springs, and we have a lot of good people who could be represented, and a lot of them are fallen police officers, fallen ministers, people who actually impacted every one of your lives, everybody out here who stood for something that was right, that we actually knew. I was there next door at the courthouse that night. Yes, there was about 300, but there was also 20 others in another parking lot doing a candlelight vigil for the students who were shot in school. Where is our patronage as a community, as churches? I run an outreach. I'm on the street every day seeing homeless people and other people who deserve this honor. I think it's a shame. It needs to be dropped and put aside. If we're truly, truly offering peace to our community, table it and let's move on to something that means we stand for our community as a whole and not just someone who supported Charlie Kirk. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Scott Pennington.
Scott Pennington, 5716 Mill Creek Road. Children were mentioned, hungry children. And I wasn't going to say anything about this, but on the question of legacy, if we're going to honor somebody, Charlie Kirk was a man that said hungry children in schools should not be fed. They should get a job. Direct quote. Take that as you will. Yeah, there was people that showed up to support him, but there was also people on this board that didn't even know who he was before last month. So who was Charlie Kirk? Man born in Chicago, educated in Chicago, went to community college briefly in Chicago, took online classes at a college in New York, reportedly owned a condo in Florida. Why is that important? Well, I don't know. He wasn't a political leader, nor was he a giant of industry, making a difference in the lives of millions of people, wasn't a medical professional, coming up with ways to save people's lives, make their lives better. Why does it matter where he was from? Why? Because he had exactly zero connection to Garland County. Now, we just got through honoring people that have worked and served this county for years. There's the name of a man on the bench right out front who served Arkansas. As far as I know, Charlie never set foot in Arkansas. I don't know, he might have. He certainly never lived here. He was never part of our community. He was never part of Garland County. What was he? He was a podcaster. He was an ultra-conservative political activist. He was a campaign donor for the Republican Party. Tied to Liberty University in Virginia. He was partisan at his very core. So why are we bringing this up? Why? Was his goal to bring people together? I know he may have said that, and people said that of him, but if you watch, look it up for yourself, he never, ever invited conversation. He asked a question, and then he shot down, insulted, talked down to, talked over, fast talked. He was not about debate, honest debate. So it was tragic that he was killed. I find it especially egregious that it was in front of his family. I don't support gun violence. I don't support what happened to him, and I don't support what happens to children seemingly every week in this country when they're shot. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie did support that. If you haven't looked up the quote, listen to him say, yes, children dying gun fire.
Pennington, your time's up.
Could I respond real
But
quick?
that's okay as long as I can buy more guns.
Yeah, that's a misquotation. But for one, I want to correct your quote. You said direct quote when you said no child.
Forgive me, I misspoke. That was a paraphrase, but you can
Very much paraphrase. He never said children should get jobs that are hungry. It was
actually
not a
he did.
paraphrase.
Actually, I heard that. So that's
Parental
okay.
responsibility. No child in America. Okay. No child in America should be hungry. Parents should get a job to feed their kids. Now, despite whatever you think about paying for kids, I was just pointing out as a misquote. On the other hand, he invited more young people to get involved in issues, whether they're against it and for it. You say go and watch it. I probably watched for the last 5 years 100 hours of his debates on both sides. He gave platforms to homosexuals, people, minorities. He also invited people of the exact opposing views, which, and to say, other people have said that his things are divisive or exclusionary. If you believe in an idea, it often excludes another idea. And that's why we discuss them. That's what debate is, and that's how we proceed. Now, to say that we just need to buy more guns, he's actually talked about how banks and stadiums are protected we protect the things we care about. And so why are not schools protected? The quote is a cut of a very long quote. I have it here if you want me to go through it. I'm just saying your quote was not only completely, it will not just taken out of context. You actually didn't even take the clip of the quote and make it right. We just need to buy more guns. That's not what he said. You're wrong.
I said I paraphrased. We need to buy new guns. Now the
You
quote.
said you paraphrased on the previous
Okay.
one. I was just correcting the record.
Well, I read it also. So, and I can understand that you can invite people to have a conversation, but if you don't let them have a say, then you're not being honest. Now, as to your point to him, oh, he did some good things too. That's great. I'm sure he did. Good for him. Not to be glib, Jeffrey Dahmer didn't eat anybody most days. And so everybody said, what a great guy he was. So doing good things does not erase all the horrendous things you do.
Well, my point was is the thing that he got shot for was the good thing. Open debate.
Why
Changed my
did he
mind.
get shot?
Huh?
Why did he get shot? What was his motive?
The killer's motive?
Yeah, why was he shot? You just said the reason he got shot. What was his motive?
Well, because he was inviting young people to openly debate. Someone did not want that
Who
debate
said
to
that?
continue.
Where do you get that information?
So why would you say he got shot?
I'm not the one that made the assertion.
The assertion was that. So you don't think they were trying to silence debate?
I don't know why it was. You made the assertion.
It was a
So what's your
personal.
evidence
It
about
wasn't
your
an
assertion?
assassination. It was
Gentlemen.
personal.
Carry the discussion, but this is starting to get heated, and that's not what we're here for. If you have a point to make, go ahead.
If you
And
can't-
Justice Broughton, if you have
My
something.
point is, he was a radical.
Misquoting. Yeah.
He was a radical partisan
very
activist.
Yes.
He had nothing to do with Garland County. Nothing. And it's shameful for this committee to put this forth. I think we're better than that. Most of us are.
Thank you, Scott. Mr. Fleming, you want to speak to the bonuses? Is that right? You want to? Okay. We'll call you at the end then when we get to that. Brianna Otero. I apologize if I didn't get that right.
My name is Brianna Otero. I live at 122 Havelock Place. That's in District 4. So hello, Justice Young. Nice to meet you. I am against this resolution to name October 14th as Charlie Kirk's Day of Remembrance for what most of the constituents behind me have said before, that it is already been handled on the national and state level. It's redundant for us to handle on the county level. Furthermore, someone has also mentioned that I would like to see our public safety and health committee using their time in a wiser way, because if, from what it sounds like, we've used 2 different gatherings to first proclaim this room as the Charlie Kirk Debate Without Hate, which got removed. And then now we're also using this time to talk about potentially naming a day of remembrance. That's 2 potential committee meetings now that we've wasted on national issues, not focusing on local issues. And like another constituent has mentioned, if anyone has any suggestions or needs help coming up with topics to talk about public health and safety in our community, I'm happy to give suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. But to be clear, it's our policy to come before a committee before it comes to full quorum court. So anything that comes before a committee will come here afterwards if it's passed.
I'd like to, I agree. I just want to add something on that. That was misquoted a statement that was sent out to all the JPs. I said that the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety Committee sometimes has things come to it because there is no other committee. We can't make up a committee for every single issue that we need to vote on. And regardless of whether you think it's within our purview to do this or not, it is. Otherwise, we couldn't do it, and our attorney would be advising us not to do it. So the Public Health, Welfare, and Safety Committee does not have a set of duties except for what this quorum court decides its duties are. It's our responsibility to decide what our committees do. not some description on the website, just to be clear.
Thank you, Justice Myers. George, you wanted to speak at the end, is that correct? Okay.
I'm very troubled that this is almost a debate. I was troubled a year or so ago when we named this building after Darrell. The purpose of the justices of peace are budgetary. If you look at your manual, the budget is your responsibility. Naming the buildings and stuff can come before you. I'm not upset that it was suggested to name it after Darrell. He's done a lot for the community, for the county. However, it did divide the community, and there were people for and against. Now, this gentleman, it was horrible. Anyone that watched that shot, watched the assassination, it was horrible. However, naming buildings and other things aren't really a significant thing, in my opinion. I served on this court one time. It was a budget. That's what we served to do. And when we stray off into it, we begin to divide the community, folks. I don't oppose having a day. I don't oppose putting up a plaque. I don't oppose anything. I do oppose that we don't consider that there were people on both sides. He did not have 100% follow me. And I think that we should leave it to others to do this, to do something. Now, do we want to have a day? If we have a past president who is honored, if we have a general often, if we have anyone else, we fly the flag at half mast, we say prayers, and we think about what's going on in our country. I hate to see our community divided over whether we should do something for Charlie Kirk. I think Charlie Kirk deserved to have a flag flown at half mast. I think it was a terrible tragedy for our country, for everyone. And as for who and why and what the person did it for, he was a deranged, sick individual. I don't think there's anyone in this room that can decide why he did it. I think we probably ought to table this, fly the flag as we did. I believe, did we fly the flag at half mast, Carol? I thought we did. Thank you, sir. That was a lot of respect. And let's move on with the business of our county. Can I do my other item right now?
We'll do it in that. I'd like to get through with this. Thank you, George. Mickey Gates.
My name is Mickey Gates. I live in District 13 and served on the court for 20 years. I'll read my remarks so I can get them in my 3 minutes. This court, the issue before this court is whether or not to establish a day of honor to honor civil rights leader Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated on September the 10th. Charlie was leading an effort to bring public discourse to a more civil tone and often invited those opposing viewpoints to publicly debate the issues. He fought colleges and schools who were creating small areas around campus where conservatives could practice their free speech. Those assaulting, badgering, and causing destruction on public property were pretty much allowed to do anywhere because they were exercising their violent free speech. And they oftentimes, these academic administrations would oftentimes require conservatives to shut down their already permitted events. Some resent us setting aside Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, celebrating his life and his effort because, quite frankly, some of them are just plain outright racist. That's why it's the bottom line. But not everybody that disagrees with having that holiday does, because they may not be racist. In America, we don't always have to agree on our ideology. I remember reading about the Civil Rights Amendment of 1963. I remember reading and listening to the story of George Wallace, who was the governor of Alabama, and he made those infamous words, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. But we still celebrate Martin Luther King birthday here in this county, and he never lived here. I don't know if he ever came here or not, but he didn't live here. But we even have an expressway named after him. Why? Because there's a scripture that says, show honor to those who honor to do. Does that mean you have to agree with everything? No. Can you choose to drive on a different road? Yes. You have a right. That's America. Let's not forget Arkansas Democrat Governor Orville Faubus. If you remember, he called out the Little Rock National, the Arkansas National Guard to prevent 9 children from going to Little Rock High. And it took the President of the United States calling out and threatening to bring out. In fact, they ended up sending in the first 104th Airborne to make sure those 9 children weren't injured getting into class. So that's America. I'm asking you to pass this thing because there is a time where we recognize people, we want to honor them, and y'all have every right to do that. And I think that for the record, I think that Charlie Kirk's dream was that we would live in a country one day where everyone had a right to voice their opinion without fear or retaliation. And while we may not always agree on all issues, there is a point at which we say, this is American. Thank you.
Thank you, Mickey.
Records to be, remarks to be in the records.
Thank you, Mickey.
Mr. Beard, you're walking up here just in time.
He knew it was next.
Timing is everything, Mr. Beard.
I used to trade 3 minutes.
That's what we've got allotted.
Thank you. We have 4 basic rights that we have observed in this country for a long time. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. Charlie Kirk is observing those freedoms, and many of us over the years have been observing those freedoms and have lost our lives for that. For example, more than 1,100 black men have lost their lives to policemen as a result of one of these freedoms that they were observing. Now, I don't expect to have 1,100 days recognizing those men, but let's be aware that Charlie Kirk was not alone in what he believed in. Charlie Kirk's fame became after he died. George Floyd's fame came after he was murdered on TV. We are now hearing that his murderer may be released. That requires a prayer. The very idea that it's been discussed. We have also heard that the one responsible for killing, as opposed to assassinating Charlie Kirk, will probably be in the death chamber. One other point I'd like to make, I'm wondering how many in this room are aware that there's a holiday in the state of Arkansas named after a black woman. We should understand a little bit more of our history before we start to making additional history about greatness of people. And since you didn't speak out and say it was Days of Hate, it is Days of Hate. And she was born in October, but we observe it on the 3rd Monday in February. A holiday that's already been observed by the President of the United States to make us soften ease on those who become uncomfortable with a person of color being recognized for a holiday. I had to mention that. And just before I take my seat, I'm thinking about the prayer that James Weldon Johnson ended when he said, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. I'd like to end it by saying, God of our wearied years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far along the way, thou who hast by thy might lead us into the light, keep us forever in thy path, we pray, lest thou be straight from the places Our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shadow beneath our hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Beard.
Happy Indigenous Day.
All right, that's all that's signed up to speak to the resolution. We have a motion and a second. It's on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
And Hunter. All right, Sarah, let's move into our ordinances. Ordinance 02517. Read that in its entirety, please.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes. Whereas the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Public Law Number 117-2, the act was adopted into law on March 11th, 2021. The act established the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which provides in part funding to counties to address the various adverse impacts of COVID-19 upon these governmental units, including premium payment for eligible essential workers under the United States Department of the Treasury Final Rule Definition 31 CFR Part 35. And whereas the act and the final rule set forth the authority and need for providing premium payment to ensure the retention and support of essential workers in public functions, and whereas the Quorum Court established a special revenue fund called the American Rescue Plan Fund by Ordinance 02114 on May 10th, 2021. And whereas the Quorum Court of Garland County recognizes the need to provide resilience to our local government by providing premium payment to eligible workers retroactively as authorized by the active guidance from the final rule, and whereas the premium payment and matching benefits are to be paid to all eligible employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, and commission deputy sheriff's employees as such. And whereas an eligible employee is an essential worker who worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25th, 2023, and has not terminated employment before November 1st, 2025. And whereas the eligible full-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 500 hours worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25th, 2023, and eligible part-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 250 hours worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25th, 2023. And whereas the committee previously met and approved this request, now therefore be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, Section 1, that the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas hereby authorizes a one-time premium payment to certain essential county employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, and commission deputy sheriff's employed as such funds received from the American Rescue Plan Fund. Section 2, the Garland County Commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, a class of employees who were previously eligible for premium payment have been added to the list of excluded employees due to this class of employees receiving a pay increase effective May 21, 2023, which offsets the loss of premium payment.
Judge, I suspend the rules and place ordinance 02517 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson, to place 02517 on its second reading by title only. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones, yes. Young,
Yes.
Bales, Hooten, Myers,
No.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters, McGrew, Hunter, Brown,
Yes.
Eds,
Yes.
Sarah, please read 02517 by title only.
be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance 02517 on its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson, to place 02517 on its third and final reading by title only. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bales. Hooten. Myers. Floyd.
Yes.
Peters. McGrew.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Eds.
Move to adopt 2517.
Need to read it.
Oh, that's right.
Sir, please read 2517 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt 2517. Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Eds. Any discussion? You want to speak now, Mr. Clement, or you want to wait? You want to do it now? You're welcome to speak to it now.
But you've already released it.
No, sir, we have.
We're still in discussion.
No, sir, it's
discussion, and then we'll go from there.
It's on the floor, so
it's on the floor now, Mr. Floyd. We have,
Thank you.
the other was just procedural.
You said a few months ago when we did the last giving of bonuses that this would be the last. Mr. Myers asked that question, that if this is this going to be the last that we give these bonuses. And here you're coming tonight, and you have added two words that is very, very concerning to me, and I've talked about it before. Of all of the bonuses that you've given to the people, and now you're saying it's for the retention of workers, to keep your workers. 3 months ago, or when it was, I called the state capitol and I told the lady what Garland County is doing with this money. And I said, they are giving money out to retain the workers. Is this in the ruling? She wouldn't answer it, except say, I'm going to send you the ruling for the use of this money. I sat down with Justice of the Peace a few months ago and showed him what came from the state capitol, and none of the 5 reasons had anything about giving people money in order to keep them. Friend, this is a waste of money. And to me, you have violated your trust by saying that there would be no more bonuses, and this for other purposes is a real concern. Now, you have it in every meeting. You, for the first time, if I can remember, when you have given money to the people, the employees of Garland County, never was it in for other purposes. I want this committee tonight to tell me and those listening what is the purpose for the other purposes. Why would you have that? I have sat under hundreds of business meetings and voted, and none of them has ever said, and for other purposes. Let me tell you something, committee. In my opinion, there is something going on in Garland County that the public doesn't know about. I haven't figured it out, but I think it pertains part of it and for other purposes. And I wanted to encourage this committee to vote down this this plea and this of giving away money. A guy said to me last week, Bill, there are several other avenues that we could spend this money on.
Mr. Fleming, your time's up.
I have in my account
Mr. Fleming,
where
your time's up.
$1,200 was given to John Howard as premium pay. Why?
Mr. Fleming, your time's up.
And let me say, not only John Howard, I've got a list of others that was given $1,200, but it's never been mentioned.
Our payroll records are public record, Mr. Fleming. Any more discussion?
I'd just like to point out that, well, I disagree with some of what Mr. Fleming said.
I can't hardly hear you.
Well, I just heard what some of Mr. Fleming said. I'm a no vote on this for the same reason that I was back in May. Our deputies should be receiving this premium pay. You did say that the last round in May was going to be the last one. Turns out it's not. We're still treating our deputies differently than our other county employees. So I'd like to explain that as my no vote for this ordinance and for the next one. Thank you.
Understood. Any more discussion?
I've got a question for you, Judge. So with this American Rescue Plan Act, it was obligated toward employees for the last year. Is that
We
what
had to, at the end of 24, we had to obligate that to what we were going to use it for. It has to be spent by the end of 26, but it had to be obligated by the end of 24. And this is one of the things that we obligated the funding for was this premium pay. And this is an accepted practice by the Treasury. And it's also was recommended when the initial ARPA funds came out. We also have a consultant, Horn LLC, that has been guiding us on our what to use the funds for, and this is certainly acceptable with them.
Okay. And then it expires, what is it, December 31st, 2026?
Yes, it all has to be spent by then, otherwise it's returned to the Treasury.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Sure, Mr. Fleming. Come to the microphone, Mr. Fleming.
When we got from the federal government 19.2 million several years ago,
Yes, sir.
we started giving this money in this area. And I went to the sheriff and I said, Mike, is it illegal to use, and this is my opinion, is it illegal to use federal funds to solicit votes? And he said, yes. And my opinion is this money is being spent in elections, before elections, through elections, simply to influence votes that is even coming up in this election. I'm telling you, friend, it's a waste of funds and it's illegal. And in my opinion, we're on the wrong track.
Sir, Bill, I don't believe that it's used to influence elections. I do believe that it is hard to retain county employees at the amount that we pay them. This should be an attractive job and an attractive county to work in. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. I believe in paying our county employees a good wage. And so, but the idea that we are trying to solicit votes from, I guess you're saying from county employees, this has been almost unanimous, almost every time.
Sure.
On both sides of the aisle, on all kinds of different political persuasion. So I do, all due respect, I slightly resent that remark because I'm not trying to solicit. I know, I'm not trying to solicit votes.
This, for other purposes, was shut down from the Capitol when I called them and told them what was going on. When I talked to an attorney, and not my attorney now, and he's still on the job, and I've said to him, you can have 80% of what you get from Garland County. I have talked to both of them, and not him, but others, and they have said for other purposes should be illegal. We don't know what you're doing with that money. But
Thank
we
you,
would
Mr.
like to
Fleming.
know.
Call the question. Call the question.
Because Mr. Fleming, we've gone over this time and time again. You called me a racist.
Call for the question. Stops further debate. Question's been called for, Thomas.
Call for the question.
The question's been called. Please call the roll, sir.
Justice Broughton.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bales. Hooten. Myers.
No.
Floyd.
Yes.
Peters. McGrew.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Thank you. 02518 in its entirety, please.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize the one-time premium payment from the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security CARES Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes. Whereas the Quorum Court of Garland County recognizes the need to provide resilience to our local government by providing premium payment to eligible workers retroactively. And whereas the premium payment and matching benefits are to be paid to all eligible employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, commission deputy sheriffs, employed as such employees who receive the full premium payment from the American Rescue Plan Fund. And whereas an eligible employee is an essential worker who worked between May 18, 2025 and October 18, 2025, and has not terminated employment before November 1, 2025. And whereas the eligible full-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 500 hours worked between May 18, 2025 and October 18, 2025, and eligible part-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 250 hours worked between May 18, 2025 and October 18, 2025, and have not terminated employment before November 1st, 2025. And whereas the Finance Committee previously had and approved this request, now therefore be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, Section 1, that the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas hereby authorizes a one-time premium payment to certain essential county employees from funds received from the CARES Act Fund with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, and employees who receive the full premium payment from the ARP. Section 2, the Garland County Commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, a class of employees who were previously eligible for premium payment have been added to the list of excluded employees due to this class of employees receiving a pay increase effective May 21st, 2023, which offsets the loss of premium payment.
Judge, I move to suspend the rules and place ordinance O-2518 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Broughton. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson, Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales, Putin, Myers,
No.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters, McGrew, Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds,
Yes.
All right, Sarah, please read O-2518 by title only.
be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance O-2518 on its third and final reading by title only.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson, Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales, Putin, Myers,
No.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters, McGrew, Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Yes.
O-2518 by title only, please, Sarah.
be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium payment from the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt O-2518.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to amend 2518 by striking section 2 in its entirety.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to approve O-2518.
What was there?
It was
Second.
Section what, 2?
But we had a motion second on the floor first.
I believe my amendment is a substitute motion that would precede the motion to adopt, is it not?
So you want to strike section 2?
Yes, I want to strike section 2.
Was there a second on that motion to amend?
Second right here.
Motion is second.
Basically, what the amendment would accomplish, it would allow our deputy sheriffs to be paid just like everybody else that works for the county.
We open for comments.
Can't find that, can we?
Is there, oh, did you, well, yeah, that was my question, so.
I have a comment to that point. Our sheriff's deputies have received multiple pay raises, significant pay raises during the period of time that other departments did not receive pay raises as a blanket pay raise. That's the reason some of us will acknowledge this just like it is. We would love to see much more money go to the sheriff's department because they're deserving. but they have already received blanket pay raises from this Quorum Court multiple times through the period that this money has been distributed to those who have not received pay raises. So that's why they are left out.
McCormick, Sheriff, sorry. How competitive are our deputies' pay in comparison to surrounding counties?
I would say we're about average with the
Yeah.
surrounding counties.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I have a question for you. Is this the last time we're doing using that fund? Will we
Sure,
use
this
all
is
of our
it.
funds? And so if it be extended to the sheriff's department, will it go over? Or how's
It will go over what we've got budgeted for it right now.
Okay.
This is what we committed to at the end of 24
Okay.
with this amount of funds is what we set aside for this purpose.
Okay.
We've got other items on there that the sheriff and I discussed this when we did the initial increase for the sheriff, and he'll support that, that we would give them the raises where they receive that all the time and in lieu of the premium pay. And that was one way we were able to support the increases that we gave them.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll withdraw my motion. I'm not going to make my colleagues act like they're voting against the sheriff's department because I can tell it's going to get voted down. I'll withdraw my motion.
Speaking of Mike,
I withdraw my motion.
Motion withdrawn to amend. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
Yes.
Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
I'm sorry, this is for the amendment?
No. This is to approve. The amendment's been withdrawn.
Okay, yes, sorry about that.
Anderson. Jones.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bales. Hooten. Myers.
No.
Floyd.
Yes.
Peters. McGrew.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Sarah, let's see. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read appropriation ordinances by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Anderson, second by Justice Broughton. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bales. Hooten. Myers.
Yes.
Floyd.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
McGrew.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
All right, Sarah, please read 2519 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Garland County Budget Ordinance 02433 to anticipate revenues, appropriate and transfer funds in various budgets and for other purposes.
Move to adopt 02519.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Peters. Discussion. Justice Hooten requested that we go through these and explain them a little bit. He had some constituents that was asking questions, and so I'll go through them. If you'll tolerate me, I'll go through them line by line here. We'll discuss them. Section 1 is anticipated revenue from the road improvement bond is $1,107,299.69. That was in 2016, the people of Garland County voted for a bond issue to extend the Martin Luther King Expressway from Highway 70 to Highway 5 and 7. I believe it was a $52 million bond, and anything that was spent over the $30 million that was promised for that extension was divided per capita between every incorporated area in Garland County and Garland County. So it's done per capita. And so we have been working on this bond. It's in the hands of Simmons Bank, and it's paid back about 3 years ago. But the bond money has still been there and it's been accruing interest. So each year we budget a certain amount from that, and now we're down to the end of the money. This is the last of the money in that road bond, and starting in November, they're going to start charging us a fee each month to house that money. So we're going to go ahead and budget that because we have 3 bridges right now that we're working on. There was one on Watson Road and 2 on Mill Creek that we're working on that the cost of those was $6 million, and we have paid so far about 3. And so we still owe about 3. And so we're going to go ahead and appropriate this fund so that we can pay those out and have that bond paid completely out. It's a pretty good you've ever dealt with a bond, it's a pretty good process to get the money. We have to submit the invoices from the contractor, and then they have to approve it at the bondholder, which is Simmons Bank, and then they send the funding to us, and then we do a claim and we pay it out. So this will end what they call the Pay It Forward bond forever. It will no longer have any funding. Since then, the Pay It Forward bond was renewed for our roads now, and it's a tax. It's not a bond. It's a tax that goes on for 5 years, and we have a line item that it goes specifically in for the county, and it is all spent for roads and bridges as well. But this money is what was left in that bond, and it will go to pay for those bridges that we have coming up. So you want me to go through the rest of them? Justice Hooter, you want to speak to that one?
I just wanted that one because it's somewhat confusing. And I think you explained that. What I did notice on the financials, what they did have, what you were saying, the road bond. That's one account. But then you had some other accounts that was road and bridge, but it wasn't bond fund. So, that explains it, because I saw that money, I'm going like, that's pretty much going to do it for that. But you have several million, I think, in the road construction.
In the road and bridge,
bridge.
That's recurring. And this year we got a little bit behind on it because when we had the flood in April, it pretty much stopped us from our paving program, and we utilized our contractor to try to go find scoured areas and fix the areas that were damaged during the storm. And we also had to pull our paving crew off to repair 2 bridges. And as you know, we had one at the Cedar Glades landfill, and we had to hire Mobley Construction to do. So it was a significant fund expense as well. These we have those set aside so that the public can see exactly where those funds are going to and exactly where they're spent out of. And that road and bridge, I believe that's probably the 5/8 tax that's in existence right now. And we try to budget all of that, but we don't know exactly how much we're going to receive for the year. So we certainly spent last year. I think we had to come back in November and appropriate some more funds to that line so that we can continue paving. But it all goes by ballot title. It has to go to existing roads and bridges. You can't build a new one with it.
Yeah, I just wanted an explanation on that, because when you start, $1 million is quite a bit of money. People really need to, unless it's explained, and especially to me also, unless it's explained, you don't really know where the money comes from. You kind of know where it goes, but this way everybody understands where it came from, what the purpose it is, what's going to happen to that fund. And so I just think people needed to understand that more.
Sure,
That was,
absolutely. And
that was my concern.
And we have a very good, accurate record of all the claims that have been submitted for that. We can tell you exactly every bridge and every roadway that money was spent on. The improvements that were done on Thornton Ferry Road, where that money was spent on. Several bridges that money's been spent on. So it's certainly served Garland County well for as long as we've had it in existence, and to still have some left. It's been a blessing to us for sure, and we've got a lot of work done that we weren't going to get done otherwise. And I'll be glad to go through these others if you want to, Justice Hooten or anybody else.
I don't have any other questions on the others. I think the others pretty much self-explanatory, and like I said, $1 million. People kind of want to know where it came from, where it's going.
It right now it's costing us about $208,000 to pay 1 mile. And that's a 2-inch overlay with no shimming. So $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but it doesn't go very far when they're trying to pave.
I understand that, all right. But no, everything else I'm satisfied with, and I was satisfied with that. But I just thought
certainly
everybody should know that.
Absolutely, and I tried to explain it in finance as well. So it's been a good bond for us.
You said 2 on Mill Creek and 1 where?
Warren Watson Road at the Glazy Po. They call it the Glazy Po Gate of the Village. It's complete. There's just a little bit of landscape left to do there, but it's complete. What they call Mill Creek number 1 was a low water crossing that was at the 4500 block of Mill Creek. And so in the event, flooded nearly every time it rained over an inch. In the event we have a flood, public safety starts out there and the road's flooded, then they have to go a long way around to try to get back to the individuals that are in need. So that was something that was certainly a public safety issue. And then the bridge at Kelton, which is Mill Creek number 2, was structurally deficient.
Okay.
When we get, this could change tomorrow, we have our inspect, but the next 3 bridges that we will be bidding out, when we get through with those, we'll no longer have any structurally deficient bridges on our list. We may have some functionally obsolete, but no more structurally deficient.
Awesome.
Any more questions? Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales, Hooten, Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
McGrew,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Gary, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to do these other 2 issues first here. I know that Vince wants to do a little presentation, and we'll get those out of the way. Paul? Yes.
I think due to the nature of resolutions being a voice vote, some people in the public are confused about the outcome of the Day of Remembrance earlier,
It passed.
and would also like to know how their individual JPs voted on that resolution.
I really don't know what to do with that, Paul. We've already had a voice vote, and we always voice vote on
I believe it was
resolutions.
11-2.
Are the JP's individual votes public record somewhere that you can?
I think, I know me personally, if you email me, I'm happy to tell you. I assume most of my fellow JPs are the same way.
And there's, of course, we have video and audio records of it. You can certainly get that.
Passed 11-2. Thank you.
I think, yes, 11-2.
Item 2, acknowledgement of the overtime report. It's in your packet there.
Move to accept. Second.
Motion and a second to accept the overtime report, acknowledge it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The second was by Justice Myers. First, I believe the motion was made by Justice Brown, the second by Justice Myers.
How much we spend for overtime, where we are.
It's public record. It's public record, Mr. Fleming.
Why will you not tell us?
I don't have those numbers here in front of me for the year.
81.
There you go. It's on the screen.
281,000.
$281,534 for the year. 450 employees. We have a final audit report in the packet as well, 2024 final audit report that was okay. It's the single federal audit that we have to do each year. If you handle over $750,000 worth of federal grant funds, you're required to do an audit, and you have to get an independent auditing firm. Legislative audit does not do it, so it's in addition to our legislative audit. This came back, and you should have got a copy of it, of the federal audit.
Judge,
So we just need to acknowledge that.
Move to acknowledge the audit.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Myers, second by Justice Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Justice Floyd, you want to read your proclamation?
Yes, sir. The proclamation of the Garland County Quorum Court. Whereas the Garland County Quorum Court acknowledges the impact of civic leaders, public figures, and thought influencers who have contributed significantly to national dialogue, political engagement, and the exchange of ideas. And whereas Charlie Kirk has played a visible and influential role in American political discourse, engaging youth and communities across the country in conversations around government, economics, and individual liberties. And whereas October 14th shall be set aside each year as a day of reflection, discussion, remembrance of the contributions, legacy, and influence of Charlie Kirk on modern civic engagement. And whereas the planning and execution of such a day requires dedicated resources, consistent oversight, and an organizational structure better suited to sustaining a meaningful and educational annual event. Now therefore will be proclaimed that the Garland County Quorum Court hereby recognizes October 14th of each year as a Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance in Garland County, Arkansas. And be it further proclaimed that the responsibility for planning, programming, facilitating this annual Day of Remembrance shall be formally transferred to this designated independent civic organization, nonprofit, or educational entity equipped with appropriate mission, resources, and community partnerships to uphold the spirit and purpose of this commemoration. And be it finally proclaimed that the Garland County Quorum Court remains committed to supporting educational and civic initiatives that foster respectful dialogue, historical reflection, and community involvement.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank you.
Gary, I apologize for putting you guys off to the last. Gary's going to give his report, and then Vince Signorelli is here from the Metro Partnership Majestic Site team, and he's going to give a little presentation on an update on the Majestic Site tonight.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate that. Since we last met, we had our DC fly-in. We brought it back after 4 years. I'm pleased to say we had 31 attendees. Congressman Westman did his usual fantastic job of hosting and his team. We heard from Senator Cotton, Senator Bose's staff, Representative French Hill, Representative Rick Crawford, took a tour of the Library of Congress, and Congressman Westman's famous U.S. Capitol tour that night. So I encourage everyone that can to come next September. We're going to bring those back, Judge, as a regular staple, popular demand, and I think we can grow it back to 41 that we had in past years. Attended the IEDC conference, International Economic Development. Fascinating story of it. The bankruptcy of Detroit had the largest municipal bankruptcy of any community in the world, $18 billion. And the comeback from that, and it was, as you would guess, everybody working together. Thicker plot there, more unions, and, but city, county, auto manufacturers, everyone, to preserve the Detroit Institute of Art, which is kind of a sacred cow there. But great conversations. Heard from the mayor, the judge that was responsible for that, the governor. We secured while there Nancy McNew from Pine Bluff, and I secured Mark Perna, who's the authority on workforce representative of our Arkansas conference next year in Jonesboro. We also had some valuable lessons on recruiting young folks who moved away from Garland County on how we might can get them back home, copying what Greensboro, North Carolina has done, as well as a housing plan that Shiawassee County, Michigan, is using, and I'd be happy to share that with anybody that's interested. So it's a pretty comprehensive plan, and obviously we know what our challenges are in housing, workforce housing specifically here in Hot Springs, Garland County. Hot Springs is glad to host the Arkansas Realtors Association State Conference. It always brings hundreds, if not a few thousand folks to the community. Cora McCaskill, as workforce, led the Health Industry Sector Alliance. Democrat headline: state's unemployment rate inches up to 3.8%. Still remind you that 4% or below is considered essentially zero unemployment, so we're still in pretty good shape there. Continued meetings with Gary and Bill Ritter from National Park College, and a lot of new programs they're instituting, specifically culinary and hospitality. Met with Mike Abram with Cobalt. We're going to be assisting him, his company, with some marketing. Dr. Peters, I have to look at you. Mark Curry arranged a meeting with Dr. Thurman and Gary and myself. Some just really, exciting things going on at Lake Hempel School District, and he's anxious to bring some of his vision to some new programs that he shared with us. Corey and Gary attended the meeting with the CRC, with the ACC staff, trying to work on recidivism. We have so many prisoners or inmates, I should say, that just stay in the cycle. They get out, they're out for a few weeks, few months, and they're back in jail. Trying to teach them a skill, trying to teach them, trying to have them test for applicable skills through workforce services and get them a job when they complete their debt to society. One of the two probably biggest news of the month, National Park College had the announcement of a welding facility. We've only been working on that for about 6 or 7 years, so thrilled that they're able to pull that off. Judge, you were there. Just a fantastic opportunity. Justice Broughton knows we have a lot of companies in town that welding is a premium quality for their employees. So made about 6 or 7 companies very happy with that announcement, and a lot of new recruits coming down the pike. Cole's been working a lot this month on Buddy Bean. We've been working with the state, trying to get a grant to get that more site ready. Justice Brown led a meeting of the Tri-Lake Policy Board. Justice Brown corrected that. Judge and I were there. Gary and I attended senior day, career day at Caddo Hills. You'd say, why are you going to Caddo Hills? Because we're told by Keith Smith, among many of our companies, how many folks drive from smaller communities, Glenwood, Mount Ida, to name a few, Magnet Cove, Bismarck, that drive into Garland County to work every day. So we want to reach out to those schools as well. Other big story would have to be Rex Nelson, and I think he's done 6 stories on hot springs in Garland County so far. I'll try to nail those. Water that's coming. A big story on the 63 million gallons potential capacity. A couple nice stories on Steve Ayerson. One nice one on our chamber itself had some kind words for us. Bill Barnes, I believe, was just over the week Saturday, and all of his years, 70 years at Mountain Harbor Resort. And yesterday on the 4 lakes, including debris that make up our community. So we appreciate Rex doing that. It's always good to see Garland County on a state highlight, and expect probably 1 or 2 more. Frankly, Wednesday and probably Saturday, I think he's got 2 more to go. Probably are the news. Jersey Mike's will be coming. They'll be there in front of the Walmart in Central in that strip center. It's not usually a report I would give to a quorum court that the Razorback head coach was fired, but he's already at home on Lake Hamilton, and we'd love to get him involved in the community. And I think most people are really fans of Sam Pittman, and we hope that he would be interested in doing so. He's going to make Hot Springs his home. Longwood study results released. Good numbers again. Visitors to the city are up 4.3% in the last 2 years. Tourism has now topped $1 billion in Garland County, so that's huge. Gary conducted the partnership scholarship golf tournament, so we'll be able to provide 7 scholarships to local career training students in Garland County. I left out Mountain Valley as one of the rec stories, so let me correct that. National Park College has steady enrollment growth in workforce programs. Rex also wrote about origami sake, so let me add that one to the list. Gary and I did a career day at Hot Springs High, and as Judge mentioned, I'm going to introduce Vince in just a second. He made this presentation to the city board last week. We certainly want to give it to you tonight as well. I met with Corey Parks and Brad Lacey from Conway. We're arranging a site selection trip for folks in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to come to Hot Springs in the spring, try to get more companies here, work in conjunction with them. I was at U.S. Chamber last week. I'm proud to be on the Board of Regents. There's only 40 of us in the whole country. So I've told y'all more than once, this isn't about, what happened with Gary. It's about Garland County being on a national map and having a representation on that level. So I'm very, very proud to get to do that. Wrapping up, we've got the Elected Officials Appreciation Breakfast. You'll all join us on October 24th. I believe Congressman Westerman is planning to be there, and we expect to have another big economic development announcement before the month is over, and we'll be inviting you all to join us for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Vince Signorelli, who was our Metro Partnership Chair last year. Before I do, real quickly, I want to say Majestic Committee has been around for well over 2 years now. There's been a tremendous work of personal time given by Vince, Scott Deuce, Todd Green, Representative Les Warren, Brian Smith, Cole, and I. But we're that's part of our gig. So we appreciate those 5 volunteers all the time, the emails, the meeting, the texts, phone calls, all that. With that, I'll let Vince share our vision or our latest developments with Majestic.
Thanks, Gary. Good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to present this update on behalf of the Hot Springs Metro Partnership's Majestic Site Committee. It is very consistent with the report that Scott News and myself shared with the city board last week. Director Beard heard that directly, and members of the Majestic Site Committee were just introduced by Gary, and we appreciate that. I think it's important tonight that you've probably seen news stories and or seen other comments online. But I thought that it would be really appropriate for us to give you some direct dialogue here this evening. We're excited to share that meaningful momentum is continuing to build around the Majestic site. While certain aspects of our investor partners' work remain confidential at this stage, we're pleased to report that collaboration and vision are converging in a very positive way. We anticipate by next month we'll be able to share more comprehensive details. There aren't really big secrets per se. There are just a couple of other announcements coming in the weeks ahead, which are more appropriately released first from a news standpoint. As you know from prior reports and social media and from recent media coverage, the committee has reviewed development concepts from multiple investor candidates and has engaged with a broad range of voices from downtown stakeholders to citizens and community leaders to better understand what people hope to see at the site. For instance, next week, again, we are sitting down with Park Avenue Community Association, and we'll be asking for their input, and also from the Downtown Association for their input too, now that more insights are revealed. Our charge, of course, from the City of Hot Springs is to evaluate and rank investor proposals, and that process has evolved into a broader downtown-wide vision that emphasizes synergy and long-term community benefit, which would obviously include all of Garland County. We have a plan forward now. We're starting to dive deeper into the planning phase now and all the details associated with that. We previously shared our goal of encouraging the three leading development teams to explore collaboration together as opposed to competition. And each of them, I can tell you, brings kind of a unique set of talents and abilities, but none of them seem to fully comprehensively fill up the whole property with everything that we desired for it. We're pleased to say that's exactly what has happened now. The combined expertise and creativity of these groups have led to a unified, forward-looking design process that we believe will produce something truly special for the city of Hot Springs and all of Garland County as well. The working group now includes a respected local commercial real estate developer with a very solid track record, and his investor partners, a nationally recognized local architect specializing in experiential environments, a local designer and strategist with national credentials, a curator of Arkansas art and cultural history, representatives from our community library, and of course, the Majestic Committee itself. We are also in early discussions with philanthropic partners locally, statewide, and beyond to share our vision and may support elements of the project that serve the public good. So to add a little color to that, yes, this is a business, that would require a certain return on investment for the developer, themselves, but there's also a philanthropic aspect that is intriguing and I think very special for this particular site. There is growing consensus that a traditional hotel, at least as we and others have imagined in the past, is not necessarily the right direction for this site. Instead, the emerging concept prioritizes a series of dynamic, community-centered features, a substantial water element. Where's the water? That's the number one, question that we get and that we want to solve through this. Engaging spaces for recreation and reflection, a mountain biking connection, a scenic easement that highlights our world-class vistas, and a signature amenity that enhances downtown Hot Springs as a destination, all with appropriate parking and accessibility, of course. As we have emphasized from the beginning, our guiding principle is simple. The majestic site should be something that benefits everyone, locals and visitors alike, and strengthens downtown as a whole. We only have one opportunity to get this right, and we're determined to ensure that what emerges will be something our entire community can take pride in. Now I'd like to show you the renderings, and some of them are up on the big screens here, and I assume, can you see them on your monitors as well? I provided some highlights too.
Question?
Sure.
So when you said, where's the water, it's the idea that if these renderings were to come to fruition or anything similar to it,
right,
that this would be the spring water?
The spring water itself is not, that was cut off from, this is you're talking about the national park thermal waters. That was cut off from the site itself.
Okay.
We've been in talks with the National Park Service about what the possibilities are, and that's a top question every time.
Yeah, because I think that's the water people want to know about. You know what I mean?
That is, but if it were not available to us, is that a deal killer? I don't think so. People want to know where the water is, but I do know that the National Park Service is doing a study to determine the capacity of water that they can provide.
Right.
And step two, and this is the federal government, step two, what they're doing is determining the rate at which they would could charge for said water.
Certainly.
So if we can go back one more slide, I think, which would show the site plan. So again, that's a little difficult to see, but let me give you a few highlights there. This is, the downtown north end Central Avenue anchor. So this would be transformative in terms of that it's going to open up corridors downtown, both along Park Avenue and Whittington and even Cedar. But the idea is that whatever we put there enhances and improves, the high tide list all boats. Is that the proper way to say that expression? But we want it to be good for all who are developers, hotel owners, restaurants, anybody who has a stake in downtown. We're answering the question, water, water, water. We want to provide with the site things to do. That's another top question that visitors and locals want to see. Another interesting aspect of this development is the fact that we're utilizing the existing topography. So it's challenging topography on this particular site. We want to utilize that and lean into it as opposed to a massive excavation that studies have shown so far could be enormously expensive and perhaps prohibitive. We need to provide parking and accessibility as well. There are a number of different parking solutions that are in the works, but this particular site should also provide, at least part of the solution for downtown. The fountain itself, I'm going to say, first of all, everybody I think involved wants something really substantial, just a real beacon, downtown. The fountains would be in the floodplain. You'll see indications on the images of an art park, a rock park. You'll see an indication of culture. This could be a museum. So we haven't shown them in the renderings here, but we do imagine the possibility that there would be real structures down there. This is part of the fundraising that is going on right now, the philanthropic aspect. You'll see mixed-use retail. We do have a number of candidates that are interested in participating in retail placement at the site. You'll see more streaming water, a pond. Is there a splash pad there for kids and families? This is all kind of something that the community is reaching out that they'd love to see down there, and that is definitely on our radar to be able to provide that as a part of this. We still feel very strongly that there needs to be a mountain biking connection here. We've got some trailheads, right around the corner and nearby that we can, utilize, with some work and make a part of this. The entire site is experiential. So whether you're a local or visitor, this is a place to go and really enjoy and explore. So that's the word experiential. It will have, this is a hint, a connection to the Velvet Rose Hotel. So that development is getting ready to go to get underway. It's part of the news that'll be coming out in the weeks and months ahead. But we imagine a space down there where this is kind of connected or at least seamless from an aesthetic standpoint. This is about people. We have listened so much, and thankfully our community has just been so giving in terms of what they'd like to see down there, and we have kids and frogs, hence the hotel. We got so much pushback from existing hoteliers and those who are in the process of getting ready to kick off massive developments of hotels. I don't know, or I think we're all convinced that we don't need more rooms necessarily. We need to do something there that really helps all of them. The fountain is massive. It would be such that if we can go to another slide, I don't know if I have the clicker here, but the fountain is really something. So, how if you're walking north, let's say in front of the bathhouses, and then you make the turn at the curve there at the Arlington Hotel, and then that's the moment when you can look north along, the Central Avenue corridor. There's nothing really that calls you down there at this point. And so often a lot of people will just turn around and walk back south. Well, what if there was a beacon down there that called you to the north end of Central Avenue, and you could see, there's the water, Dad. It's right down there. Well, we expect this water feature to be something that is super massive, a lot of fun, very exciting. And then the last slide, and I'll close on this, is it's one that at night could be lit up, again, interactive, that calls you down to the north end of Central Avenue. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
The fountain's not, and I've for years thought that's what we needed to have down there, and I love that they're there. But you don't show any buildings around, and with this, you've got buildings that are going to block the view from certain areas. And so, how's the rendering going to change when the buildings start popping up and it's hiding what's behind it?
It's a good question. We have many more renderings of this particular site, and they're all in process now. And I say we, what I'm really referring to is the developer, together with the architect and other planners. They are paying for all of this. This is not the city or Garland County or the taxpayers or anything. They're investing a great deal of money. It's really too premature, and I think it will come out in the next couple of months where we could show more specific details in terms of what's possible. I do imagine and hope that there will be structures there, a museum, and just the details about the museum are super exciting, they're not going to put them in the way of the fountains. There's no question about that. So these renderings are really just shown to create or to show the aesthetic, just in other words, the feel for what the entire site might look like. Does that kind of help answer your question?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Still, you see that,
Right.
and then you end up with something that's got buildings all the way around, and you barely see it. It's my concern.
Okay, so here, let me allay that concern. Think of this site with the expression of a scenic easement. So when you think of a scenic easement, this particular site must be viewed by all. The last thing you want to do is put a structure in front of it that would obstruct that view.
So that's going to be a goal. It's
There's
not to
room
obstruct
behind.
anything.
Yes, yes.
Would the is there a focus when it comes to landscaping and architecture on not clashing with our current downtown architecture and trying to kind of integrate into? I mean, I know you can't recreate old timey downtown today necessarily, but just not clashing. Because one of the nice things about downtown is you're kind of stepping into the past. It's a old
That's a really good question. So we've worked with the architects and designers on specifically that, and they've brought in their teams to look around at the architecture that we have in downtown Hot Springs. And I have a little fascination with, or a little experience with architecture, and we have such an eclectic sort of mix of, everything from Art Deco to Georgian to all of that. So the idea is for them, and the challenge for them is to collect and curate these various architectural elements and blend them into this particular site so that it becomes, at the end of the day, reflective of what is at the heart of downtown Hot Springs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hey, Vince, you've over here.
Yes.
You've mentioned a couple of times you're working with a developer. So is this somebody who is ready to make a financial investment, or is this somebody who's just giving us ideas? These all look great. It's a 10-year-old empty site. What's the likelihood? Let's rip the Band-Aid off. What's the likelihood of something happening in the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah. This particular investor developer has several other properties, at downtown that will undergo a simultaneous, development. They are very much, they have funding, and we want to help them secure additional funding for this site. And then there are historic tax credits involved. There's real investor cash involved, and then there's philanthropic money. And then, Justice Brown, the other thing that we've done is we have curated a list of others, in our community and around the state that would like to participate in some way or another. So now that we have this particular group involved, we can get their potential investment too. And under no circumstances, this work is going to be happening, pretty soon, and it's not going to be something that we would ever recommend to the city that this is going to be some sort of far-reaching, dream of ours. In fact, the Metro Partnership needs to go back to the city to ask for a renewal of our contract, keep the Majestic, site going. That'll be November or December when they'll award that or not. And I don't see us going in front of them saying we're going to need very long. We're not going to need another year.
I was hoping there was really somebody there, not somebody just saying, "Hey, that'd be great."
This is real.
All
This
right,
is
good.
real. It's imminent. And at the end of the day, we're really leveraging real local people with investors and people who have the wherewithal to do this. We're not relying on some sort of, out of state, sort of, developer.
I have one question.
Yes.
Is this more geared toward like the older generation, or is it geared toward families? You mentioned splash pads, but I didn't hear any mention of like, playground equipment. Also, it kind of reminded me of, have you ever been to the Gathering Place in Tulsa?
Yes.
Okay, because we've been there and there's nothing in Tulsa
Right.
for kids, whatever, from what I could
Right.
see. But we went there and it was a magical place for my kid. And it seems like this area would be good for something kind of that on a much smaller scale.
It is. Tulsa's done a wonderful job revitalizing their community. My girlfriend and I took a visit there too and spent time with their community leaders looking around, and that's fantastic. You know, it, it's okay. The Longwood report that just came out, that this was 2 weeks ago, a week ago. They provided a wealth of information about who visits Hot Springs. The median age is 42, and they're younger families with 1.5 kids with them. And we need to provide things for them to do. I think that some of us were a little surprised like that. You think this is, Hot Springs is a place where old people come. Well, they do. Some of them live here as well. But we need a solution that is good for all. And I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be good for all. It's a place of rest for older people to walk around and get some exercise and watch people, but it's also a place where of recreation where families and kids can have fun.
Right, because right now we have that little lawn in front of the Arlington.
Yes,
That's it.
that's right. So this would be another amenity that really hopefully drive people to come and spend time here. The other thing Longwood report is visitors are spending longer here than they used to. I think it's 3.6 days on average. Even a few years ago, that was like 1.8 days or something. So this is another reason to come and visit Hot Springs. But it's important to all of us, not just to create this wonderful amenity for just visitors, but to do it for local people too. You know, here's something to do if you live here. It's another reason why families in Little Rock or other places in our region, why they in terms of quality of life, why they might be interested in moving here. We've got the great schools. We just need more things for people to do.
Thank you for that.
I'll just.
Yes, ma'am.
Any of that water that's spouting up to the being collected and reused or recycled and going back to the mountain?
I definitely imagine it is water that is reclaimed on the site, that, rather than going into the wastewater system. I think that's typically the way things are done. But really proud of the group who are working on this, the people who are designing and developing it, because they're very environmentally conscious people. I guess the developer, right? Yeah. Yeah. We don't have them yet, but that is something that should and it will be part of the the final plan when we're able to deliver that. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Or
I live just a couple blocks over there, and I've walked there a lot. There is a continual going in that direction. I even have it looks like you're going to turn the sidewalk into the street and splash pad.
It is pretty.
okay, noted. Good thought. Yes, we'll have to build that into the plan as well.
Some trees, maybe.
Yes, on the survey there, the site plan rather, it shows several different, parking areas there. What's undetermined yet is if those are going to be structures or lots, but clearly there needs to be parking down there. The city, of course, is working on a north end parking solution now, through the meter system and and the possibility that they can issue debt to create, a new parking solutions. But we want this to be a parking solution as well. Yes, sir.
Several renditions of the site. How did these renditions going to show the incorporation of the Native American contribution to this area?
I don't know, but
You say you're going to have museums, yada, yada, yada.
I would think that it will be. We'll certainly advocate for that. I think it will be something that will, come out of the brainstorming of all who we should serve, because this is something that is for all.
Yeah,
So,
there was people in the area. I would go there.
absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely, and that theme is repeating throughout our community and should be repeating at this site as well. I think.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If you share with me, I have a chapter in the book that's celebrated in Facebook, and it's about 1868, Blacksmith Rock, and you're the guest.
Yes.
Build that, and I have information I'd like to add for you at no cost.
I would love that.
Okay.
Maybe Director Beaver could share that. And that would be really nice.
Hey, Vince. Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
Vince, we've got a water sewer resource there at Hot Springs Creek that turns under the avenue there.
Right.
That would possibly be pulled. That's spring water. I mean, pretty magnificent water itself. That it'd be pulling water off of in a flood period.
Yeah.
Maybe some way to take some water off of downtown Hot Springs as well.
I think so. That would be something that's going to have to be studied for sure. Yes.
Vince, I just want to say, great presentation. I love it. I can kind of envision what you're talking about with the surrounding developments down there. I think I got a pretty good hint on what you're hinting at.
You're a butt coming in here.
No. I was just saying that's great. And if there's nothing further, I'd like to move to approve the report. And while I'm not technically moving to approve your presentation, that was a great presentation.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you, Justice
move to
Myers. That
approve
means
the
a lot.
October
Thank you.
report.
We appreciate
Second.
you as well.
Motion to approve the report. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you all very much. Very good job, Vince. George, you wanted to address the court?
I'm representing not the Tea Party tonight, okay? I'm
Excuse me. You are representing the Tea Party?
am not
Am
representing
not.
any, these ideas come from the Garland County Tax Alliance that we formed a number of years ago.
The Garland County what?
Garland County Tax Alliance, we're on file, we file reports, et cetera. Back on November the 25th, 2024, this Quorum Court unanimously voted to approve a 0.6 mil tax increase without anywhere I can locate a single word of public discussion in any prior meeting, committee meeting, or during the meeting itself. Now, some have tried to claim this tax increase was somehow connected to a non-binding resolution passed earlier in the year for a different amount, supposedly for public safety. But let's be honest, you can't have it both ways. And if these two actions were indeed related, then that discussion did not occur in a lawful public meeting. And if that's the case, it means this tax was conceived and advanced in violation of the Arkansas Open Meetings Law. So which is it? Was this tax created in illegal meetings or through illegal polling, as has happened on other occasions before this court? That's exactly why we are now recruiting primary challengers for every incumbent justice of the peace who supported this secret tax, and for anyone who votes to continue it in the upcoming budget. If you truly believe this tax belongs in the 2026 budget, then have the courage to do it legally and transparently. Take it from the hospital fund and put a 1.2 mil proposal on the 2026 general election ballot with a permanent 0.6 mil rate for the following years. Let the voters decide, not backroom deals. Let the voters decide. But make no mistake, any justice of the peace, incumbent or freshman, who votes to continue imposing this secret tax or to waive the rules and rush it through rather than putting it before the people in the general election will see those votes publicized across the county, and they will face opposition in every future election. The people of Garland County deserve honesty, transparency, and respect, not secret taxes, not closed door decisions, and not a government that hides the very citizens it serves.
George,
Yes, sir.
were you not there during the discussion? You sent me an email and you were there the day when we had the discussion about the millage increase. Were you not there for that? It's odd because you sent me
When was
an
that?
email. It was prior to the November meeting where 4 of us opposed that increase. So, and I know because I got an email from you, so that I could pull that up. If
I
that
do
would help.
know that 4 of you opposed it. We're not targeting the 4 people in our recruitment.
Okay, I mean that's what I was. I just
There is
confused
there
because
is
it
an
was.
issue
I thought it was
there is an
public.
issue I'd like to address though. Once the way we call the roll and we go 1 through, once 4 people or once you have enough votes to pass something, the rest of the people don't have to vote their conscience. They can vote to go along and get along.
Well, but that would be like saying you only need.
Well, you
we
do
have
only
13,
need 7. You only
yeah,
need 7.
But people elected their representatives to represent them. I mean, we need all 13 JPs. Once something passes 7, it's like you might as well keep your mouth shut. I don't believe that.
Our targets are the 7 that voted for it.
I'm not arguing on that. I was just trying to point out. I thought you were there for that meeting.
There wasn't public discussion.
Was
there
there
was
not?
discussion among y'all. There weren't any meetings. This didn't go in a committee meeting. This didn't come that way. You could.
I may be
we can't find.
misremembering.
We have gone over the
minutes,
the meeting, the film.
George, it
CJ
was
video.
discussed. It was discussed in public health, welfare, and safety. I believe we met 3 months, March, April, and May.
I could have
It
swore
was
you were there.
discussed
That's,
then.
We looked at financials thinking it was financial. but we'll look at that
It was
again.
discussed. in
You
public health,
attended some of
welfare,
the
and
meetings,
safety.
George.
And
We had
Justice
3
Young
public
and
meetings
Justice
regarding that.
Broughton, who championed this in the discussions, Justice Young asked that we look for a lower amount than 1%.
And we did.
And that was what was returned.
and I was on the news actually opposing it during public comment. I remember because a guy that used to work with me came up and said, "Hey, I saw you on the news last night." I'm like, "Oh, this is prime
Okay,
for nothing."
I'm going to stand by what I said. I will tell you, gentlemen, I could be, and ladies, I could be wrong. It would not be my first mistake. Okay. However, we don't want these things to be passed by the quorum court. We want you to put it on a ballot and let the people of Garland County decide. Have the courage to trust the people. You know, there's ballot issues that I have voted for, and there are ballot issues I voted against. Trust the people. I don't want it done by this group.
George,
Thank
the
you.
lives of our public safety officers were at risk, and the quorum court made a conscious decision to try to support them in a manner of putting 10 more police officers on the street. And that's what that money was for. That, for communications people over in the 911 center, and 2 in the prosecutor's office. All of it, law enforcement and public safety involved. That's where every dime of that has went. We worked, we pulled the numbers down. We got it down to 0.6 of a mil was absolutely all we had to have
Judge
at
Mahoney,
that time.
I don't doubt that you didn't
I'm
spend the
just
money. as
explaining
you
the
raised
facts to you, George. What you came up here and said was far from the truth.
I-
We had 3 meetings of public comment, and you can go back and review every public health, welfare, and safety meeting. We had long discussion about it.
Well, and I'll
Several
be back
members
here
from
to
the public.
apologize after we've done that if I think you're wrong.
Sure you will. That's probable.
Well, let me close with this. I will be back here to apologize when I go over them. The second thing I want to say, this year, let's not do it with that millage. Let's put it on the ballot and let the people decide. That's what we're supposed to do. Let the people make these decisions. I don't disagree that you may or may not need it. I just want you to let the people do it. Show the people that they can make the decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Any other questions for me? Thank you all. I appreciate you all serving. It's not an easy job, and you're not always appreciated, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the fact that you all serve.
Thank you.
Any other business? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.